Aviators Aviation Incorporated. Aviation Learning Platform. Good day and welcome to Aviation Learning Platform, a dedicated educational channel for aviation enthusiasts, aspiring pilots, flight dispatchers, and future aviation professionals. This platform shares aviation knowledge, ground training concepts, operational procedures, and practical guidance to help learners understand how modern airline operations work. In this part, we will learn behind every airline flight what a flight dispatcher really does. Flight dispatch operations. Every airline flight begins long before the aircraft leaves the runway. While the pilots prepare the aircraft, another professional may be studying the route, weather, fuel requirements, alternate airports, navigation facilities, and operational conditions. That professional is the flight dispatcher, or flight operations officer. But what does a dispatcher actually do? And how does the dispatcher work with the pilot in command before and during a flight? In Part 3, we go behind the scenes of airline flight operations. What is flight dispatch? Flight dispatch is an important part of an airline's operational control system. A flight dispatcher or flight operations officer supports the safe and efficient planning and monitoring of flights. Depending on the country's regulations and the operator's approved operational control system, the precise authority and responsibilities of the dispatcher and pilot in command may differ. In systems where dispatch responsibility is shared, the dispatcher works closely with the pilot in command during flight planning and subsequent monitoring of the operation. That qualification is important internationally. ICAO provides international FOO/dispatcher training guidance, while Transport Canada's airline standards, for example, prescribe particular operational control arrangements for applicable Canadian operations. Preparing the operational flight plan. One of the central tasks associated with flight dispatch is the preparation and review of the operational flight plan, commonly called the OFP. The planning process considers information such as the aircraft, departure and destination airports, route, weather, navigation facilities, fuel requirements, alternates, and applicable operational limitations. Before the flight departs, the pilot in command reviews the operational plan and may request additional information or changes. The objective is not simply to produce paperwork. It is to develop a safe, practical, and operationally suitable plan for the flight. The flight plan is not finished when the aircraft departs. Preparing the operational flight plan is only the beginning. An OFP may have been prepared well before the aircraft actually departs. During that period, weather can change, an airport condition can change, an airspace restriction can appear, or operational circumstances can develop. The flight must therefore continue to be monitored. If significant information changes, the dispatcher must ensure that the appropriate operational information reaches the flight crew in accordance with the operator's procedures and applicable regulations. Flight watch. This brings us to an important term, flight watch. Flight watch means maintaining current information about the progress of the flight and monitoring factors or conditions that may affect the operational flight plan. Depending on the operational control system, this may include monitoring changing weather, airport conditions, route restrictions, operational messages, and other factors affecting the flight. The important point is that dispatch does not necessarily end when the aircraft becomes airborne. Flight following versus flight watch. Flight following and flight watch sound similar, but they are not exactly the same concept. Flight following focuses on monitoring the progress and status of the aircraft and ensuring that appropriate action can be taken if a flight becomes overdue or missing. Flight watch goes further into the operational conditions affecting the flight and its plan. In simple terms, flight following asks, where is the aircraft and what is its status? Flight watch asks, what conditions could affect the safe continuation of the flight? Operational control. Another fundamental concept is operational control. Operational control concerns the authority and responsibility associated with planning, conducting, and where necessary, amending the operation of a flight. The exact structure varies between regulatory systems and operators. In some systems, The dispatcher plays a major shared operational control role with the pilot in command. In others, greater responsibility may rest with the pilot in command or another approved operational control arrangement. This is why flight dispatcher students must learn both the international operational concepts and the regulations applicable to the state and operator in which they work. Use a real-world example. Consider a flight already en route to its destination. When the flight departed, destination weather was acceptable. 2 hours later, the forecast deteriorates and thunderstorms begin developing near the destination. The dispatcher identifies the change and reviews the destination, alternates, fuel situation, and operational options. The updated information is then communicated to the flight crew. The pilot in command evaluates the situation from the aircraft, and the appropriate operational decision is made under the applicable procedures and responsibilities. This simple example demonstrates why flight planning, flight watch, and pilot dispatch coordination are interconnected. Conclusion. A flight dispatcher works behind the scenes, but the role can influence every stage of an airline flight. From preparing and reviewing the operational flight plan to monitoring changing conditions, flight watch and operational coordination, the dispatcher forms part of the system supporting safe and efficient airline operations. In the next lesson, we will go deeper into the operational flight plan and examine the major elements that must be considered when planning a flight. This briefing is provided for educational and knowledge-sharing purposes only. Always refer to the current regulations and approved requirements of the applicable Civil Aviation Authority. Thank you for watching Aviation Learning Platform. If you found this platform helpful, please like, subscribe, and share to support our mission of making aviation education simple, practical, and accessible. Together, let's learn professionally, fly safely, and grow continuously. Kawaja Amin, Aviation.